Hi, everybody, and welcome to soccermag.com. I am Moneyman, and I've got Moneyball here. And a word to the wise, and somebody out there called him clueless on Facebook. No one gets to call him clueless except for me. Yeah? Get that straight. And if you're on Facebook, you're probably pretty clueless as well. Everton, Tottenham. I mean, Everton's 2 points out of the last 50, out of the last available 15. Should Evertonians be worried?
I think now that they're back in the drop zone, I think there was a period where they got the -10 and it looked like it would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
They've been performing, I wouldn't say their performances have been bad, but there's also the possibility of another points deduction, and I think if that happens, it's game over. I think you can't really survive that.
I heard a rumour that Leeds are looking to
Yes, I think it was the relegated teams are looking to do some sort of lawsuit over them for their points deduction or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say it's the biggest mess behind the scenes probably in the Premier League, comfortably.
Well, now, let's go to Man City here for a second.
Oh, okay, well, that is the potential. We don't know yet, but I think we know.
I think the multitude of money involved in Man City may create a bigger mess, as money often does. I get your point.
They usually are the best at everything. So
look, what it does do is if it's the unfairness comes into and the complications come in when you look at sort of the assessed loss to teams like Leeds.
It's hundreds of millions of pounds that are,
which is billions and trillions and Brazilians of rands. So look, Everton. That's got to weigh on your mind when all this stuff is going on. You know, you're thinking about your career, where you're going to play. You know, if you've got kids settled into schools, it just creates havoc in your life. Chaos comes in, and chaos is not a great motivator. Often, you know, certain chaos is not too bad. It teaches you how to deal with adversity. But chaos when you're looking to avoid relegation, and Luton just before Christmas we're so far in the drop zone, but then they go and get 10 out of 15 points. It's a long month. A month is a long time in soccer.
No, I mean, they've doubled their points, basically.
Yep, for sure.
I think their performances have been really good.
So what I see that on this betting site, we won't name any betting sites. We don't sponsor us. But I've got 29-20. And I think you've got a similar spread on your one, eh?
For an Everton win?
Yeah. No, for a
Spurs
win. Because I like the Spurs win at 29-20. You know?
So here I've got on another unnamed site 2.41.
2.41. So it's significant. The side I'm looking at is much better. I like the 29-20. I take that for 100. I like Spurs to win 2-1.
I agree. I think Everton's home form hasn't been terrible, but Spurs have James Maddison back, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
They came back from, I think it was 2-0 down against Brentford this last game week.
Mm-hmm.
I think with James Maddison in the team, even though they're missing Son still for another week or so, they're a completely different team. You know, they're scoring goals again. Timo Werner looks like he's doing well. He played well against Brentford.
Well, we were expecting a regression from Tottenham when Maddison went out of the team.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, eh?
They went through a period of where it looked they were clearly weakened.
Yeah.
But that was probably, looking at it now, more due to their lack of defenders than their lack of goal scoring. I think missing Romero and Van de Ven for so long really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But looking at the table now, they're top 4, 3 points behind Arsenal.
Yep.
Now that they have Maddison back, they really could.
3 points behind Arsenal and Man City.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's an interesting one. So where's Moneyboy? Is he left the monastery yet, or is he still?
I'm not sure.
Huh?
I have no idea.
Last time I saw him was walking around. He had a bald thing around his hair. He was in this brown robe and chanting. I mean, he's lost it. Huh?
He's trying to become I don't know, not the money man, but something else. I don't know.
A monk?
Money monk.
The must become the monk that sold his Ferrari. I like Tottenham there.
I agree. I think 2-1's good.
Now,
I think 2-1's a good score.
Next up, Brighton and Hove Albion. I don't know what a Hove Albion is, but it sounds interesting. Versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have been not they've disappointed me a little bit this year.
They've definitely regressed.
Yeah.
They've struggled. I think I mentioned last week that there just seems to be an air of negativity around them. Roy Hodgson's always complaining when he speaks about his team's not good enough. He has too many injuries.
Well,
the way they play is negative. They don't try and win games anymore. I don't know.
Well, I think with the younger generation, and this younger generation is probably more challenging than any other generations in terms of their attention span, in terms of the things that they're into, the temptations on the mobile phones and everything. He's probably the wrong guy for them. I really do.
I mean, he's well into his 70s now. I don't think he has many. At the end of the season, I can see him retiring.
He's younger than me. Yeah, nice. Brighton and Hove Albion 7-10. Though, in referencing them, they've only got 6 points out of the last possible 15, and one of them was a 4-0 beatdown by Luton Town.
That was really surprising.
That was a shock result for me.
Yeah, did not see that coming in all. But they're comfortable favourites in this game. My odds is 4.9 for Palace win, and 1.68 for Brighton win. So
about the same here, 7-10. A little bit better on this one again.
I just think Brighton have to win this one. I don't know. Brighton at home, even though they lost 4-0 to Luton, Brighton seems to be that side that literally, I've used this example before, beat Aston Villa 4-0 and then lose to Luton 4-0.
Yeah, my thinking is the same. I like Brighton to win this game 2-0. I think Crystal Palace are regressing. There's nothing about them that excites me. I think maybe Roy has lost if he ever had the change room. And Brighton home certainly to be looking to put it right after a drubbing from Luton.
Definitely.
Again, who cares about this one? Even most Premier League fans give this one a miss. Burnley versus Fulham.
Yeah, Burnley comfortably beaten by City 3-1. Haven't been in great form. Still rock bottom of the table. Haven't even hit double digits in points yet.
Well, they're not rock bottom. Let's not. I mean, they're 19th.
They're 19th.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield, sorry.
United. Yeah. They're rock bottom.
They've just gotten double digits. Are they on 11 points or something, or they're 12 points? Yep. Fulham, I think, haven't been a bad team. I think they're playing pretty well. Results-wise, they haven't been getting good results, but I think they've played difficult teams.
Double the points that.
I think they should beat Burnley.
Fulham. I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
It's so uninspiring, and it may even be 0-0.
Well, the odds for a draw are 3.35, which isn't bad. I think a draw is definitely possible. I think it's probably if there's going to be two results, it's either a draw or Fulham win. I don't see Burnley getting a win against Fulham.
No, I don't see it either. Oh no, I mean I don't see a win here either way.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, and that'll take us on to Newcastle, Luton Town. Luton, like we said, out of the relegation. It'd be amazing if they escaped relegation. I picked them to be relegated.
I think I put them. I thought they'd be bottom, but they're actually not a bad team. They're actually really not a bad team.
Not a bad. Well, they are a bad team. They're just not as bad as the other teams.
As we thought. Yeah.
But here, Newcastle, who hammered
Aston Villa away from home,
and we know Aston Villa are one of the.
It's probably one of the first games they've lost at home in months.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I love Newcastle to win this 3-0.
I think Newcastle will comfortably take this. I think Luton's away form is the reason they are at the bottom of the table, because I think at home they're very difficult to beat. That's where they get all their points. I think I'm going to go 3-1. Okay. I think Luton are starting to find some sort of goal-scoring form, but if Newcastle lose this game, Eddie, I think there's some serious problems there.
Sheffield United versus Aston Villa. Rock bottom.
They're on 8 points. Is it something 8 or 9 points? 10 points.
Versus Aston Villa, who, as you know, some of their form at home, I know it's been exceptional, but they're not at home, actually. Aston Villa, that was their first loss against Newcastle. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got to give it to Aston Villa.
Villa, who are they?
Aston Villa.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. I've got to give it to Aston Villa here. I just don't
See it?
Yeah, I don't see it. Even though their away form hasn't been great, I think best case scenario for Sheffield's maybe stealing a draw, but I don't see Villa losing 2 on the bounce with the form they've been in, especially to a team like Sheffield. I think the loss to Newcastle will probably be similar to Brighton, where it's a huge shock.
2-1 for
Bounce
me.
back.
Villa over United.
I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay.
3-1 to Sheffield. I mean to Aston Villa, sorry.
Bournemouth versus Notts Forest.
I'm going to go for Bournemouth in this one.
Yeah, look at
Bournemouth, I think until their loss at Liverpool, I think they were one of the best form teams in the Premier League. So
well, they're okay. I mean, it's Nottingham Forest, though. There's not a very inspiring team.
I think they just give up too many goals.
Yeah, I like Bournemouth at
Give
home.
up too many. Yeah, Bournemouth.
Who's the new
they're
manager
playing
of
well.
Bournemouth, of Newcastle, of Notts Forest, sorry.
Of Nottingham Forest,
Yeah.
it's Nuno Espirito Santo, the
There's a
former
mouthful.
Spurs and
Yeah.
Wolves guy.
Yeah, he did well at Spurs. Yeah, I'm still going to go I'm actually going to go for a draw, 1-1.
Okay, I'm going to go for a... Bournemouth have been scoring a lot of goals. Dom Solanke's been in good form. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Bournemouth.
Okay. Then we have Chelsea versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Chelsea at home have been pretty decent lately, and although they got drubbed by Liverpool, I still like them at home against Wolves. I'm going to go for 2-1 here.
Over here they have 4.1 odds for a draw, and I think Chelsea are really inconsistent, and I think Wolves can do damage to Chelsea. So I'm liking that maybe a 2-2 draw at 4.1. I don't think that's bad.
It's not a bad bet. In fact, it's only 3.2 here.
Okay.
I like Chelsea to win 2-1.
Okay.
Man United versus West Ham. West Ham's always been an interesting team when they play Man United. And
I think whenever West Ham played the bigger sides, they usually perform quite well.
yeah. And I think that they were getting value here, 33-10 on this site, for West Ham win, and 16-5 for a draw, simply because of the Man United brand.
Yeah.
You know, the West Ham are above them in the table, albeit 3 points. They haven't lost in the last 5 games. In fact, they've picked up 11 out of 15 points. They're definitely heading in the right direction. I think that Den Haag just still hasn't. I don't think he's the guy to lead Man United. You know, I don't know who is, but a 9th place Man United. I'm going to go West Ham 2, Man United 1.
Okay. Here they also, West Ham's got 4.3 odds for a win, which also is quite high.
Yeah.
4.1 for a draw, and then 1.76 for a United win. The thing about this United team that's really strange is that they win games even... I know they're not as high up the table they would be, but as they should be. But there's just something about this United team where they get these individual players where they'll play well, like the Scott McTominay, that what he's done throughout the season. Bruno will score a 90th minute winner. Something about those, Garnacho scores that bicycle kick. Something about this United team, and you can say that Ten Hag, there isn't a clear pattern of play or style of play, and that is true. And he probably isn't the right guy for Man United, but they have got individual quality. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 United win. I think it'll be tight, but I can see them pulling it out the hat late, like they've done a couple times this season already. just
Yeah.
have a feeling about it.
Look, it's never before. I mean, the last time I heard someone say there's something about somebody, it was something about Mary. I mean, if we're describing something about Man United, there should be a lot about Man United. And I just don't see it. I mean, we've had enough sample size now to see that they're just not that team. You know, and it's what's going to happen next year, how much is going to be invested in the purchasing of players. And, you know, we were chatting off here about Rashford phoning in sick and was at a nightclub. You know, it sounds a bit chaotic there.
I mean, I don't think Rashford will really participate in this game. I know he missed out in their last game, and they're going to play Wolves tonight. So I don't see Rashford playing a part, which is a huge loss for them because he's come under a lot of scrutiny. But he's been their best goal scorer under Ten Hag by far. If you look at the other attacking players, they just don't contribute anything at all. I think Bruno Fernandes is the only one. If you look at Garnacho, he's still young, doesn't really provide much numbers-wise. Anthony, 0 goals in almost a year. I think he got his first goal, 0 Premier League goals. He got his first goal in basically a year against, it was in the FA Cup, but against a League 2 team. So, as much scrutiny as Rashford gets, he's still their best forward.
I couldn't agree more, but I don't think he's going to be playing.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you leave your top scorer, you know,
That's why I'm thinking it'll just be Bruno Fernandes to do something.
Yeah.
Just maybe a long-range shot or whip in a dangerous cross or something.
And the main course, Arsenal versus Liverpool. I mean, let's deal with the elephant in the room. What a sad day for Liverpool fans. One Klopp said, "Look, I'm too tired." Talk me through your feelings here, because I know everybody in this room. The two lads producing this, both Liverpool fans. They're fucking looking bits. Look, even I was shocked. My brother hasn't contacted me. He hasn't reached out. I think he might be in therapy, so they don't allow phone calls to go in there. But it's a sad day for you guys.
No, I think I'll probably remember the moments I found out for the rest of my life. Like it was.
They call that the psychologists call that a flashbulb.
It was. At first, I thought it was just my friends taking the piss. They were like, "Oh my god!" Like, send the screenshot, and I was like, "There's just no way that's real."
Yeah.
And then when I saw the actual video of like Klopp saying he's leaving, it was like, what the hell? It was. I was so confident. If you had 24 hours before he released that said to me, what do you think's more likely, Klopp leaving at the end of the season or him signing like a new 5-year contract? And if you had said, put your house on it, I would have been 5-year contract easy. I had no idea.
There goes the house.
Yeah.
Or at least your
Thank
parents'
goodness.
house.
That's why yeah, exactly. Honestly, I was completely blindsided. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I think every Liverpool fan was completely blindsided.
Do you need a hug?
by it. No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I've hugged it out already. Yeah.
So there goes you. You've cost your parents their house. I mean, you're just a Gen Z nightmare, aren't you? I'm betting your parents' house on that. For me, I mean, what a class act. Unless let's just throw this out here, maybe he's using it as a bargaining chip.
We can hope. But
So Klopp, yeah, must have been devastating. Who do you think will be replacing him?
if you look at it, I think the biggest worry people have is just there's going to be so much uncertainty now. And if you look at the possible options, there's no senior manager available, someone like Klopp, when he came to Liverpool, who had managed for 15, 16 years, had seen success.
Yeah.
There are no options like that available. There's obviously people want Xabi Alonso, but he's doing really well now, but he doesn't have the CV, same as people are talking about De Zerbi from Brighton or Sporting's coach Amorim. Those, I think, are the three leading candidates. But there's nothing there for you to guarantee success. It would be someone to come in, and that would be them elevating themselves to the next level, as opposed to getting a winner in to keep winning, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's the worrying thing. It's not, and now there's lots of manager vacancies.
But let's also talk about Klopp's pulling power. in terms of attracting players.
No, exactly.
Because he's clearly somebody that makes people better. You know, it's
and it's not the thing that's also worrying. It's not just him leaving. It's the entire backroom staff. It's the youth. I think it's
they're all leaving.
Yeah, the assistant coach.
Why?
Because they're leaving with Klopp, but they're all pursuing different. Like Linda's, the assistant coach, is going into management. He wants to pursue management from the end of the season.
Yeah.
Then I think the head of the academy, or Klopp's head of academy, as well, leaving. Then the third in charge is also leaving. The whole back room is, and now they have to basically start from afresh, build everything up. And I think that Liverpool are looking for a new director. The director's leaving as well. So,
well, who would want to live in Liverpool?
I mean,
I'm
with
kidding.
Zoom
I'm
nowadays,
kidding, Liverpool fans and Everton fans.
That's, I think, the biggest problem. They're unexperienced managers, but now you're coming into a completely new setup where every single person of authority is now learning the ways of Liverpool. And Alonso makes sense because he's a legend. He wants to manage Liverpool. He understands the club. And his style of play looks very exciting.
Who's he managing now?
Leverkusen in Germany. And they're coming first in the Bundesliga. They're unbeaten.
Well, that's the Harry Kane effect, isn't it? I mean, any team he's on will finish second.
I think it's just the biggest concern is he's only been a manager for 3 or 4 years, hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
And he's coming into arguably the most competitive Premier League ever, with Pep still going strong, Arteta coming up, Ten Hag, although he's got criticism, is still there.
Roy Hodgson,
Postecoglou at Spurs.
Sorry.
You know.
Yeah. No, there's a plethora. Look, the Premier League is the pinnacle of leagues.
Even Unai Emery at Villa, that hole vacates, and now there's a vacuum, and Liverpool could go from potentially winning the Premier League this season to 8th in 6 months, if the right person doesn't come in and set themselves. I think that's the worry, because we've seen as Liverpool fans how quickly you can go from just losing the Premier League with Brendan Rodgers to 18 months later him being fired because we back-to-back 8th finishes or something like that. Yeah. So that's the biggest concern, I think. And at this point, I wouldn't say there's a clear favourite to replace. I think there's a lot of work to be done still.
Now let me ask you this question. Before this, I really fancied Man City to win the league, and I still do to a large degree. But the Klopp factor of him leaving and everybody galvanizing behind him, that's going to be worth some points in the Premier League race this year. Let's do it for the Gipper, the Governor, or whatever, the Klopper. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think that's definitely a factor. The biggest test will be this Arsenal game. If they can go to the Emirates and get a win, go 8 points clear, 7 points clear of Arsenal, potentially 8 points clear of City, even though City have a game in hand.
Would be 2 then, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they have 2 games in hand?
Yeah, 2 games in hand. But you look at that and it's like, okay, they are performing way better than we expected at the start of the season. Mm-hmm. They've only lost 1 game, and that was that controversial loss against Spurs.
Yes, yeah.
But
don't forget that they were on the hunt for a treble 2 years ago. So it's not totally shocking. I mean, they had a bad year by their own admission last year, but maybe that was just fatigue. And we still.
I think the squad had just come to the end. It was the age of the squad. Henderson 32, 33, Fabinho 30. Yeah. I think Keita wasn't really fit, but also approaching 30. Ox approaching 30. Milner.
Wait till you approach 30. You'll say, what
I still got a while. Yeah. But in football terms, that's, I think for the style that Klopp plays, it's difficult to do that for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Especially as a midfielder.
Yep. That said, dark clouds in over Anfield. But what a class act. You can't wish him anything but the best. Arsenal, Liverpool. What's your prediction?
So looking at the odds here, Arsenal are slight favourites, 2.32 for an Arsenal win, which is still, I think, pretty good. And then 2.9 for Liverpool win, which is also the thing. This Arsenal team, I think, you can't rule them out. They're still a very good.
I haven't.
You haven't yet, but I'm sure you will at some point.
Probably.
they haven't been scoring as freely
Yeah.
as last season. I think that's probably the biggest criticism you can make
I
of
think a
this
lot
team.
of that's down to Jesus' injury.
I think also just they play a lot more. It feels like they play a lot more conservatively. Their defense is better than last season, but
Mhm.
by a reasonable distance. They don't concede as easily. They control games more. But at the Emirates, they are really dangerous. And against Liverpool at Anfield, they took the lead. I think it was twice. And that's at Anfield, where Liverpool should be, should be dominant. Then you look at the League Cup. I mean, it was the FA Cup, sorry. And Liverpool go to the Emirates with a weakened team, no Van Dijk, no Salah, and they win 2-0. And Arsenal in that game should have scored about 5 or 6 goals. But that was the difference of they just lacking that clinical finish this season.
You're taking a long time to make.
I don't think there's a noticeable difference. My heart says I have to go with Liverpool, just because I'm a Liverpool supporter, but I could see this being an Arsenal win easily. I don't know. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Liverpool win just because I'm biased. I think.
Okay.
That's the best explanation I can give.
That's probably the worst answer I've ever received in my life. Let me digest that for a second.
At least I'm being honest.
You are.
Yeah.
And anybody there that's looking to bet, look, if you're a Liverpool fan, 2-1 odds on Liverpool anywhere is not a bad bet. And the ease with which they put Chelsea away last night, yesterday, was amazing. And they've got the club factor. I'm actually going to put a little wager on Arsenal to lose to Liverpool. I think 3-1 this weekend for them. Long live Klopp. Brentford versus Man City. You can get 4-9 on Man City, which is 40% return, over 40% return on your money. It's not a bad bet. Especially with De Bruyne back. Holland is back now.
Holland's back as well.
So,
I think it's very little chance Brentford do something here.
Oh, they'll do something. They'll be picking the ball out of the back of the net.
They'll be doing shuttles the whole game.
Yeah. I like even a minus 0.5 handicap on this one, or minus 1.5. I think Man City wins this game easily.
Like I mentioned off air, the 23-1 odds of Burnley beating Man City last week. It's 7.2 here for Brentford to win, and you look at that number and you think to yourself,
7.2.
Yeah.
It's 6-1 on this side. Wow.
Yeah, 7.2 is really high, but Haaland and De Bruyne being back, I just don't see any chance.
And they should get better and better as they start.
No, this is the period of the year where City put it into fifth, and they cruise to the title usually. It doesn't matter how many points back they are. I think last season they were nearly 10 points behind at this stage, probably around 8 or 7. Ended up winning comfortably. So I think I'm gonna go 3-0 City.
Okay, we agree on
the margin.
Well, it should be an interesting week. Arsenal, Liverpool. Some good games. Good luck to you.
You too.
And I'll see you next week.
Cool. Thanks for having me.